So let's pick up where we left off. I'm not going to actually do the domain and range. I'm just going to make sure that you can see what we should be using. So I can see here at this value of 2, if I'm looking at my x-axis, because I'm only looking at my x-axis right now, I can see that that 2 is open. This is my x-axis only. The y-axis is different, is a different value. That 2 is open. That means that 2 technically is not included. So if I'm doing my values and I'm looking at my graph, I can physically see that along my x-axis, because that is very important that I'm only focusing on my x-axis right now. My options, I've got a 1, I've got 0, I've got -1, -2, -3, -4. So I'm picking everything from 2 and lower. So that means I can pick everything that is less than 2. So less than 2, which means I'm going to use this one because I didn't color in that dot where that 2 is located. So I would have to use my regular old less than symbol. If I go to a different graph, I can see here I've got myself, I'm going to actually color this in just because I would like to emphasize my point on when you used different symbols. So I'm going to color it in. I know it's not perfect, but hey, nothing is ever perfect. So I've colored it in. Please use your wonderful imagination. That's completely colored in and it's absolutely perfect. And again, if I look along, I'm only focusing on let's focus on our y-axis. So I'm going to look and I can see that if I go over to my y-axis, I can pick the number 5, I can pick 4, I can pick 3, I can pick 2, I can pick 1. This is technically 0. So that all of the numbers that I'm listing are actually everything that is not only less than 5, it is less than or equal to, and I know that it's or equal to because it's been colored in. It's a solid point on my graph. 5. And again, for this one, we were looking only at our y-axis values. If you want to get fancy, we can get fancy and we can look at how this would be different for our x-axis. But if I wanted to take my less than or equal to 5 and I make that symbolic notation, I would say less than or equal to 5. And then we're going to talk about how that fits into domain and range. So actually, I'm going to just clear all of this. And we're going to use the same graph. And this time, I'm going to talk about what we're looking for on the x-axis. So I'm going to color my point again because I would like to emphasize my point. No pun intended. That one's a little better. Not really, but it's good enough. And so now I'm only going to focus on the values that I would pick for my x-axis. So I can kind of see from my graph, if I go down to my x-axis, I can pick -5, I could pick -4, I could pick -3, I could pick -2. Even though I cross over the line, I could still connect it from -1, all of these. And this arrow technically means I could keep going. So that means I could also technically pick 1 eventually. I could eventually pick 2. I could eventually pick 3. And that means I am actually picking everything from -5 and I keep going. So -5 forever and ever and ever. So that means I can pick, so it's greater than or equal to -5, which then looks like this.